So for anybody who's looking to expand their personal brand or social media, TikTok is definitely the platform to expand as an artist, content creator, business owner, etc. So TikTok has been dropping a lot of gems on what their platform is going to look like in 2024 and how there's going to be a major shift happening. What up, y'all? It is Justin P. Etienne. I'm a New York-based creative artist. Y'all know the vibe. My main foundation is fashion design, content creation, music, and entrepreneurship. And as somebody who's been on the TikTok platform for about 3 years, I've been able to generate about 25,000 followers. And I believe that TikTok is a great foundation to start your journey on content creation and developing a platform online. And as someone who wants to see y'all thrive, I wanted to break down some concepts so that you can evolve into the content creator or business owner that you aspire to be. So the question is, right, what is a personal brand? So essentially, we all have a personal brand, even if you don't post any content on social media, because it's literally about how people perceive you and what traits people associate you with. Whether if it's your interests, how you present yourself to the world, how you dress, certain values that you have, and so much more. And then in terms of the personal branding on social media, it's about how you can package what people think about you, how they perceive you, and mix it with the value that you have to offer. Once you combine these two things, you can definitely create a successful online presence. So we're also heading into a space where people want to gain a lot of value. They want to join you on your journey, as opposed to just feeling like they're just watching you from behind the screen and then going off into their lives and forgetting about what they just watched. So for example, if you're vlogging or you're doing a day in the life, don't just talk about you're going to the store, I'm going to Target, and then I got up and then I brushed my teeth and then I went to go buy this fabric. Talk about why you're doing it. Talk about why you're going to that store. Maybe give some detail about the first time you ever went to the store and how it made you feel. You could even mention things like what is the obstacle that you're encountering during your day and how you were able to solve it. Because we're getting to a point where people want to understand your thinking process. They want to be able to relate to you, and the more relatable the content is, the more they're able to connect with you long term. A lot of people don't get this concept, but if people rock with you for who you are first, they're going to be more enticed to join you on your journey no matter what creative venture you go off into. Yes, you are an amazing sewer. Yes, you're beautiful. Yes, you're a great dancer. But talk about how you got into it. Talk about how the art makes you feel. People want to know these things. And a lot of times we forget that the storytelling is what actually allows people into our world. So for instance, I started TikTok about 3 years ago, and I didn't really know how to go about using the platform. But as I started posting more, I started getting a lot more traction when I was talking about how I gave up my basketball dreams in high school to become a fashion designer. And then I started realizing that on Instagram especially, people who are in the fashion industry tend to just show the end result and what the success looks like, but I wanted to show people what goes into the process and how stressful things can be and how things might not be easy all the time. Because oftentimes people who aren't in your field of interest might not understand what it takes to develop a garment or bring a certain concept to life. And then people started relating to my content more because they started to see that, oh, he goes through this just like me. Or maybe he was running late to work because he had to go to the garment district to get some fabric for a new order, or he had to come home and sew after work or whatever. However, a large portion of my audience wasn't even in the fashion industry yet, but it allowed them to have some type of concept to where they said, you know what? Maybe it is possible for me to head into this direction. Maybe I could start this new venture, or maybe I can take the leap of faith to expand on this idea I've been sitting on for years. Because it does get scary, trust me. So if you've been getting these glimpses of success with your personal brand in 2024, definitely use your story to amplify the value that you're giving to your audience, because it could definitely give them the motivation that they need to get started. So a lot of times as the artists, we may not realize what we're good at. Spend the time this year focusing on the little things that matter, that make you you. Some of you may be really good at making people feel comfortable. Some of you are really good at organizing. Some people are really good at connecting dots and introducing other creatives to another creative that can lead to an opportunity. Or you may be a good teacher. Maybe the way that you go about recording your music or your entrepreneurship journey is very unique and can offer somebody a new insight on how they can do that in their journey. It could be anything. And definitely start focusing on what you are strong at. You don't need to sit down and always tackle your weaknesses because you're wasting your time. The people who thrive the most on social media started leaning into the things that they felt the most confident in. Focus on what sets you aside from everybody else, I'm telling you. And to be honest, you should not be feeling guilty for wanting to step into a new venture or exploring new ideas, because we're constantly evolving as creative beings. So if you want to step into fashion, if you want to step into art, if you want to step into music, if you want to step into content creation, don't let anybody make you feel like you're wrong for that. I saw a quote on TikTok that stuck with me, and it was on the We're Really Not Strangers page. And it said, it is okay to let go of the things that you thought were for you. Because essentially, if something's really for you, you're gonna be drawn back to it, you feel me? But don't hesitate to start something new. You never know what lies on the other side of the door. Sad to say, but a lot of things on social media, especially on Instagram, no shade, but a lot of things are fabricated, you feel me? So how about we start diving into the raw aspects of our lives? How do you feel working a 9 to 5 and being a creative? That is something that many people can relate to, because most of the time we don't want to get up and go work for somebody. We want to pour back into ourselves. And I'm telling you, burnout culture in 2024 is a dub. I'm not overexerting myself. We are not going to be sick and constantly pushing ourselves no matter what. We have to rest, and we have to be more intentional about what we're getting out of our time. For those of y'all who don't know, TikTok is starting to push long form content on their platform. And as social media started expanding, we tried to accommodate for people's attention spans, which is why we started doing 5 to 10, 5 to 15, 5 to 20-second videos, and they were going viral. But the only thing with that is that now virality does not equate to longevity and the amount of value that you're providing to your audience long term. And yes, short videos are good for discoverability, but we could definitely get caught up in the temporary satisfaction that a video brings us just to scroll away and forget about it. So this is an interesting concept right now, because TikTok is allowing you to post 30-minute videos on their platform. I remember when you couldn't post past like 30 or 60 seconds when I first started, and then it turned into a minute, and then 3 minutes, and then now we're at 15 and 30. And it does sound a little crazy, but I think this is a great way to capture your audience attention and allow them into your world without having to rush any of your content. And to be honest, we're at a point now where you can have 100,000 followers on TikTok, but still be getting 300 or 400 views on your page because people aren't feeling compelled to come back for more content. And that is what causes businesses or creators to be forgotten about easily. It's not that you're not important, it's just that somebody or something else may have grabbed your audience's attention based off of what they have to offer. Value. And I'm not saying people are going to record up to 30-minute videos all the time, but it's definitely going to be a good time to start incorporating podcasts, long form vlogs, interviews, and so much more, so that people could be on the go and start listening to videos or concepts while they're driving, while they're on their way to work, while they're working out, and so forth. TikTok ads and TikTok shop is being pushed OD on the platform. So the big question is, how can people still stay engaged on the app when there's so much to consume? Valuable, longer form content. Because scrolling fatigue is definitely real. It sounds crazy, but we definitely find comfort when we're on the For You page and we find a video that's catered to us. But when it takes so much longer to find that video that gives us that feeling, we close the app. So a lot of people were saying that we need to post 3 to 4 times a day on TikTok in order for us to see a lot of growth. What's happening now is that I started posting longer form content, and I started posting about 1 to 2 or 3 minute videos. And initially up front, they weren't getting as much traction. I'd probably get like 800 or 900 views in a day. But then 2-3 weeks down the line, I started getting 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 views because the algorithm started pushing that video. Overexerting our bodies and putting stress on ourselves just to get so many pieces of content out, it's not it. We're not doing that no more. So I also saw a correlation. I look at it like YouTube, right? Where you upload a video 4 to 5 years ago and it didn't get that much traction. But for some reason now it's starting to pick up because a certain keyword or the type of content that you put on the channel is starting to gravitate to a certain demographic. Same thing on TikTok. So definitely take the time out to start mapping out your content ahead of time and being more intentional about what you're pouring into. Because you're definitely going to see the value in return if you're making that investment. And that is why I say you should do things out of love and do it because you enjoy it. If you're not the best person to talk in front of the camera, maybe you don't have to sit in front of the camera and talk. Maybe you can do voiceover, or maybe you can put words on the screen and put some nice music. But figure out what works best for you. You don't need to look at everybody else and compare yourself to them, because we all have different qualities that make us unique. And if it's bringing you so much resistance to the point where you're not enjoying the process anymore, then don't force it. I was talking to my bro Rob the other day on the phone, and we were talking about investing versus spending. I'm not spending my time doing things that don't serve me in the long run. Investing is about giving your energy, time, and money to something that's going to come back times 3, times 4 in the future. Whether if it's relationships, whether if it's working out, mental health, finances. Do things that you're able to invest in. Don't spend your time, invest your time. Yo, because time is going by OD fast, so we just have to do things that propel us forward for our future and add more value to our lives and the people's lives around us. If y'all also haven't noticed, TikTok is also allowing you to start editing your videos on the desktop. And this is really amazing because it allows you to have a different perspective when you're putting your content together, and it gives you a different alternative, so you don't have to spend time on your phone and you might be getting distracted, or you might want to see a bigger screen. Whatever it is, it's also good to have an alternative. If you're really interested in using an alternative app, CapCut is a really good application that people use when putting their content together. And we should also spend a lot more time figuring out what editing style fits us the best. Yo, so I'm starting to feel this big shift. I love learning, I love journaling, I love writing information down, but sometimes it's really overwhelming to scroll on social media and consume so much information at once to the point where you don't even know what to do with it, because by the time you want to get started, you're burnt out or you're tired or your brain is fried. So we're beginning to see this shift with vlogging and entertainment style videos, because people feel excited to watch the video as opposed to feeling like, all right, I have to break this down and dissect this to a T and figure out how I can do X, Y, and Z. All in all, we just want to feel connected and empowered by something. And there's three things that allow people to gravitate to your content the most. It's either education, emotional, or entertaining. But depending on your personality and tone of voice, entertainment is definitely a great route for people who want to expand their personal brand in 2024. So I don't know if you've seen, but on TikTok, there's this notification on the bottom that pops up and says that photo carousels are more likely to get 1.5 times the views than the average video. And if you're able to get somebody to look at a photo with words on it and get them to scroll about 8 to 10 times or 5 to 10 times, the longer that they spend on that, it's going to get more visibility on the For You page. And it's interesting because Instagram shied away from photos and they started pushing Instagram Reels. But I feel like we're at a time where people kind of want to stare at a photo and actually appreciate the art or appreciate whatever it is that they're reading without feeling compelled to look at the next thing right away. So as I mentioned before, podcasts are going to be really huge because we're being more intentional about what we're searching. For example, if you're in the fashion industry, the music industry, you want to get into personal development, training, mental health. Imagine being able to search on TikTok a certain keyword and you're able to find a list of podcasts that you can listen to while you're on the road, while you're driving, while you're on your way to work, while you're working out, while you're just meditating, whatever you want to do. So I was having a conversation with my bro Rob the other day, right? And we were talking about the concept of art and business. And a lot of times it's so easy to feel compelled to monetize your art so you can make money off of it. But sometimes that's not the practical thing to do. And I'm getting to a point where I love designing clothes. I love the art of it. But me trying to sell every single garment that I design is just not fun to me. So I'm really going to start focusing on the art first, because imagine you're able to sit down and refine your ideas and you're able to expand on it and sit with it and have fun. And you don't have to rush it for a photo shoot and put it out by a certain deadline on social media because you feel like you're behind. Like, that culture is done with. I'm not with that. It is okay if you get a part-time job or a full-time job to pay the bills and then you focus on the art, because I personally believe that when I started focusing on the art and I was just making clothes for myself, a lot of people started gravitating towards my work, and then I started selling. But essentially it starts with you, and when you pour into your craft and you're happy doing what you love, people are going to feel that, and that's what's going to allow them to feel more connected to you. You just have to blend that in with your ideas, your values, and package that in a way where people can feel like they're part of your world. So far in 2023, I've posted about 18 to 20 videos. This is probably like my 19th to 20th video right now. But next year, there's 52 weeks in a year, and my goal is to post at least one YouTube video a week, which is 52 videos. And I think that's a really feasible goal. We don't need to set a whole bunch of lists of tasks and goals for the new year and overwhelm ourselves and feel like we need to be perfect, because in reality, yo, we're human, things happen. We have days where we feel unmotivated. But definitely focus on being more kind to yourself, set up some structures, and do some research about certain topics or ideas that you want to start doing for your social media and your personal brand. And please remember, stay consistent. You're not going to get the immediate results all the time up front. And we just live in a culture where people just want to get everything right now and get instant gratification. Like, yo, what happened to us putting in the work for a long period of time, getting the success and the opportunity, and knowing that we sat down and was patient and we got to evolve and learn about ourselves? When I say success, I honestly feel like the success lies in the process and being able to figure different things out. We're not always going to have the answers on how to expand and have a big platform right away, because if that was the case, everybody would be doing it. But I think that's what makes it really fun. So keep experimenting just like you did when you was a kid. And maybe you could spend more time writing in your journal and expressing your thoughts so you can feel more connected to what you're doing. I'm so happy I'm finally starting to go hard with my YouTube channel. And if you want to gain more tips on social media, how to develop your personal brand, sewing tutorials, fashion tips, hit the subscribe button to my channel. And comment any questions you have in regards to expanding on TikTok and developing your personal brand in 2024. Share this with any friends that you think might need this motivation to get started, because there is so much success that lies on the other side of the door. You just have to believe it. And don't let anybody make you feel like you're bugging for wanting to become a content creator and it's this and it's that. Because times are changing and we have to adapt. And you want to be at the forefront of these new things before they become so saturated and you have to figure out a whole new plan of how to begin your new journey in another area. So if you have the chance to get started, you can record from your phone, you can get a camera, and that initial investment is always worth it. But I appreciate y'all taking the time out to watch, and stay tuned for my next episode.